Hello and welcome to Telling Tales. I'm Sam and I'm going to be running some roleplay tonight. Here we do atmospheric roleplay and put them out on Twitch. Well, stream them on Twitch and then put them on YouTube afterwards. I'm going to be doing some Warhammer 4th edition tonight. I think this is now, yes, isn't it? I think I should remember 3 sessions in, probably. This is our 3rd session. We're actually getting into our story properly now. Really excited to see where things are going to go. But before we get to it, let's do a little bit of promo stuff. So we do, as I say, we stream stuff on YouTube, stream stuff on Twitch, put it on YouTube afterwards. We also have social media below, which you can check out. We have a Discord. We have other things you can look at. So check out on the bottom of the video if you're interested. We also do other things during the week. So this is on Mondays at the moment. But we've done all sorts of series in the past. We're currently running, get this right, Into the Odd on Wednesdays, which has been running for a couple of weeks. I think maybe 1 week. This might be the 2nd session coming up, which sounds like a lot of fun, which is kind of an interim while the Simple Room crew just fancy doing something else. And World of Darkness is on Thursdays. I think that is restarting this week because there was a delay last week. And that's going to be the 4th mini short section of 5? No, the 5th of 6. That sounds right. Wraith. I don't know how many systems there are in World of Darkness. There's at least 5, probably many more. At least, yeah, probably many more than that. Oh, it is the 4th of 5. Oh, okay, fair enough. Anyway, they're doing Wraith. That's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to Wraith because it's like nightmarishly hard to make fun and is just a harrowing, horrible experience for everyone involved. So I can't wait to see how they do. Anyway, we also do one-shots at the beginning of each month. Well, I say the beginning, kind of at some point in the month, really now. We had one last month. Well, we have one this month. We have one, lots of them recently. I played in Tales from the Loop fairly recently, a few months ago. That was fun. It's great. The next one is going to be Merkborg, which will be, I think, sometime in the middle of June. We might have decided on a date, but it's on the Discord and probably in social media. Check it out. But anyway, before, I guess that's kind of all my promo. So we might as well get started with the game, eh? So for our Warhammering tonight, first on is going to be John playing Henrik.
Hello.
Hey, John. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I definitely wasn't hurriedly trying to complete last minute stream admin just before I went live. Nope.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I realized it was just all the jobs piled upon you, and then it's like, oh, by the way, John, you're first, and by the way, John, you get to review the complicated part of last session too.
It's fine. It wasn't really that complicated.
Kill some stuff.
We ran outside. The village was under attack by weird, some sort of beast men, and we decided to tactically run for the temple. Well, and on the way, ran into the head of the militia, Elsie, who then ran straight past us to go and help what looked like a family that was being set upon by Ungors. And we decided we might as well get involved rather than just running straight for the temple.
Well, 3 of you did.
The 3 of us did. The other one took a while. And we engaged in combat. Rinda, my dog, my faithful canine companion, managed to act as bait to draw a couple of them off. And other than that, I hit a few with some rocks. I think Okri just straight up Goldberg style speared one of them.
I think you'll find it was crunched with a hammer, actually, but similar effect, certainly.
I'm sure there was a grapple at one point.
There
some
was.
pretty nasty.
Right. There was some good hammering and some good grappling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty brutal.
And the NPC who just happened to be there, it did a large amount of the rest of the work.
Elsa's pretty
because she's awesome.
Yeah, she's pretty badass.
And then we ran for the temple.
Indeed.
Sadly, only 2/3 of our innocent NPCs surviving.
Yes, sadly. I mean, I think Steve will touch on this. Sadly, one of them did not make it through the battle. But yes, that's our resident rat catcher, as I failed to say earlier. And I also promised myself I would say all of the lovely character artwork done by John, of course, as well. So, excellent. Rinda's my favorite so much. I love it. On your shoulders, so cute.
I need to rename this to Henrik and Rinda.
Yeah, you do. It's very important. I mean, I did say you should put your nameplate thing to that, but
yeah, that's true.
But then I guess that would assume you have perfect control of Arinda, which is definitely not true.
No, as anyone who owns a dog knows.
Exactly. Anyway, let's bring on our next player, Steve, who is playing Kruger. Name just gone red. I was like, come up, nameplate. Kruger, I remember you all really well. Young, rather noble, almost noble, certainly seeming noble, kind of professional-ish soldier, now wanderer, and from the land of North, the Midland. Tell us what happened next.
Yeah, sure. So sadly, during this fight, the Ungors did the dastardly corrupt thing of targeting weak innocents, and ended up there was a family, a potential family of there was an old man, slightly younger woman in her 40s or so, and then a younger teenage girl. And sadly, one of the Ungors ran the older woman through with a spear, and she rather unfortunately bled out in the mud. So Kruger, not wanting the older man to make his way to the temple, and not wanting the woman to remain in her sorry state in the mud, picked her up, and with honor and dignity managed to carry her into the temple, and laid her down on a pew or a table or something. And yes, so the temple is essentially a place of defense. There were loads of people crammed into it. There were injured people, people hurt who were being tended to by Father Stillman, and also supplies had been stored away as well. So it's obviously a place of refuge. And Elsa thanked us briefly and then rushed off to attend to all of her needy citizens, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So I think in classic Sigmarite worship practice, the Temple of Sigmar doubles up as the kind of mini fortress and place of protection for the village, and indeed, as you say, place of where armaments are stored and people train as well as worshipping mighty Sigmar. That's where the village are stuck now. So to tell us about what happened once you were inside the temple, I'm going to bring on Jonny, who plays Okri, our resident dwarf, who isn't really that short, actually, thinking about it. He's quite tall for a dwarf, quite just a large dwarf all round. Trainee blacksmith.
Yeah. So we sort of secured everybody in there, and then Okri kind of worked his way around the room, sort of getting the lay of the land, and took a look out some of the windows, and which are basically the sort of open with bars across them. And a javelin came flying through a window that I was looking through. Fortunately, I think I rolled reasonably well on my perception at that point, which I don't often do. So I managed to avoid being speared in the eye. So I then, Okri kind of shouted to Elsa about, potentially boarding or in some way covering up the windows. So yeah, a bunch of us went and got boards and nails or whatever else we were using to attach things to the windows. While in that back area where they were, we spotted a kind of weapons storage. But we were rushing to sort the windows, so we didn't pick anything up at that point because we wanted to make sure that anybody who was, we also shouted for people to stay away from the windows, and just kind of trying to make sure that everybody was safe. While this was going on, Henrik was having a conversation with Father Stillman, during which it was revealed that we knew a little bit of this information anyway, but Lord Helsknecht and his host was supposed to have been sort of destroying this group of beastmen, who also apparently had never been this far into the Reichland. Father Stillman said that in nearly 5 decades that he's been there, he'd never seen any until a couple of months ago. He also said that Lord Hellsknecht had gone north to wipe them out, but hasn't been seen since. So that's kind of all the information that we have on him and his whereabouts and what's been going on with him and his group. And then finally, Henrik asked him if he's noticed the rats acting strangely in the last few months. To which Father Stillman said no, and then kind of hastily made his excuses. And I believe that Henrik kind of decided that maybe these two things were not linked. Maybe the beastmen were not linked to the rats.
I'm not sure Henrik's made any sort of conclusions like that yet.
It's potential that they're not linked. Whereas I think before he'd asked the question, he was certain they were.
I see. It's a case of everything could be linked to the rats.
Yes, absolutely.
Indeed.
We then got the windows boarded up. Everybody chipped in where they could. Okri's chipping in was not actually fitting things to the windows because although he's tall for a dwarf, he's still not that tall.
Indeed. We won't talk about that. It's fine. And finally, we'll bring on Justin, who plays Boniface, our young, perhaps naive, idealistic, maybe even servant of, Kruger's servant.
I find it both disheartening that I'm described as young, despite only being 2 years younger than Kruger, idealistic, despite not being as idealistic as Kruger, and it's a travesty. Anyway, so Boniface was not very interested in sticking around looking at this church, and instead decided to get the lay of the land by heading up the tower, the church, the kind of clock, the bell tower, and surveying the outside, which took some time. It took a while to get his eye in, but once he had done so, he was able to spot a gathering of these creatures towards the edge of the village around some large, just devious-looking figure. And he immediately returned to Kruger to relay said information, as any good servant would do.
Indeed. And then you all gathered downstairs, and not long after having relayed this information about said large, terrifying creature and boarded up the windows, a rather horrifying thump, very loud, intimidating thump, bashed into the door, and the frames of the door kind of bounced and threatened to giving way. I think pretty much all the characters kind of agreed on, I think, with a few NPCs, that now would be a good time to try and hold the door and brace the door. So you all kind of pressed and pushed against it. But after a few more massive impacts, the door gave way. I believe everyone other than Henrik is at the door at this point. I think, Henrik, you were instead up the pulpit. That was right? Yeah, that was
correct.
Yeah, indeed. So I'm going to just get the share of image so we can have another look at the monster. I think that's working. And yes, so we're caught in a moment here. The terrifying beast has just battered its way through the thick oaken door of the temple of Sigmar you are all in. Those brass plated horns are kind of stuck through above head height of all of you, probably not very far above Kruger, and Henrik's not there, so probably just Kruger, maybe Elsa next to you. And the wood and shrapnel are flying off this door, thankfully not immediately hitting anyone, certainly not in any seriously harmful way, as the beast bellows with rage, spittle covering your faces. It's definitely not a happy place to be. Your kind of teeth are gritted, perhaps your eyes are closed as you try and brace this door, which a moment later you're going to realize is not going to do any good against this creature. So I think it's probably about time you had to make some choices whether you're going to fight it or perhaps just run away into the corner and hide. Hopefully the former.
I
think
mean, at this point, is there any point hiding? We're stuck in a room.
Fair point.
Are there many corners to hide in? Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of corners. It's just it doesn't. How long before those corners?
Oh, there's a. Isn't there a cellar or a basement or something?
There
I
is a
don't know whether
cellar,
Kruger
yeah.
knows about it.
I don't think any of you have been down. to this
How
yet.
could Kruger even contemplate withdrawing to such an easily defendable fortress?
Kruger wasn't, but Steve was thinking that if anybody knew about the cellar, that they could direct, the vulnerable and the innocent into the cellar.
Well, I don't know if you would notice it for now.
Do you mean the
but
distractions?
I was going to say there might well be people doing that right now behind you anyway. So
Right.
they do know their local,
Yeah, that's
shrine
fair.
or
That's
temple
fair.
and all
Yeah.
that. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think there were a few ideas thrown around. First of all, you've been bracing the door, which is what stopped this terrifying creature battering its way through in one go, effectively. And now the position it's in is it's not completely through and into the temple. It's kind of, if you can imagine, its head and its shoulders are wedged through the door because it charged head first, but it's not actually got its arms in yet. So you've actually, by bracing the door, given yourselves a little bit of an advantage, perhaps a brief window of opportunity when you could try and strike at the beast. The other thing, which is exactly what I was going to mention, was Steve, you thought that Kruger perhaps had thought of some oil or something.
Yes.
Obviously, while bracing the door and standing here, you don't really have much choice. But is it something you're yelling? Is it something you're going to try and
Yes,
act on?
I would be. Yes. I don't know whether we're in initiative yet, but I would be. Yeah, yelling oil.
Mm-hmm.
We need oil.
Yep, that's fine.
And possibly also. Again, this might be an initiative thing, but I would probably also be yelling to Boniface to get me a shield quickly.
A shield. Okay. Well, whatever I was going to do in this turn is now not happening.
What are you going to do?
The servant instincts. It
What
doesn't matter.
he
Whatever
was
it was,
what he was
not
going to do
important.
was get you a shield.
No, he was going to get you 2 shields. Now he's just going to get you 1 shield.
If anyone's seen the old Disney Sword in the Stone movie, it's like with all the equipment running around. Anyway, never mind.
I think Boniface is probably very happy to have the opportunity to dash away from this circumstance.
Well, that's very presumptuous.
Now, anyone would be very happy to have the opportunity. It's worth saying that you're there kind of bracing the door. Along with you was Elsa, but there was also Rorak, the dwarf, and also the dwarf you don't know the name of, who was playing the game in the tavern. They are both there, also bracing the door. There are also 2 kind of people who, militia is almost too much of a word, but they're like armed peasants, basically. People who've trained a bit in the temple, along with Elsa, who are kind of around trying to help as well. But it seems like the rest of the villagers and people there are either not in a fit state to fight, or old or young, or otherwise incapable of doing so. So yes, I think initiative is the next thing to do. Go on, you were going to say, Joe?
This might also be an initiative thing, but I was going to let loose a rock.
Yeah, that's
as
definitely
soon as the
initiative.
thing's head. Cool.
Yeah, we'll go. I mean, it's going to get a moment. It's not necessarily going to be in the initiative itself yet, but it's got a roll to see if it does it. But for you lot, initiative, and now we have the chance to maybe show off our maybe we'll see if this works. We were having a conversation about
It doesn't quite fit.
we can move around if we need to. We were having a conversation about how it's a bit awkward that there's a lot of stuff in Warhammer to see, and it's a bit difficult to keep track of sometimes. So we played around a bit on the weekend, and John is going to maybe be able to manage a little notation thingy. We'll see how it works anyway. So this has all the little images of the characters. So we've got the players. You put them in order. Good job, John.
Yeah.
So right up top
that's
left,
last minute admin.
Good job with the fantastic hat. Did you all know Elsa has a fantastic hat? These are representative. I probably would have said she had a fantastic hat if she had one, to be fair. I couldn't find perfect images for everyone in the book. I'm sorry.
Maybe she had a fantastic hat, but as getting up,
It fell off.
much like Kruger did, getting up in the dead of night to respond to an emergency, she left it behind.
That would make sense, to be fair. She doesn't have a fantastic hat, so she's fighting all the harder for it, really. She has to get that hat back. So 2 NPCs first. The very first thing, which we all have to do on our goes, to be fair, it's not everyone immediately, is roll cool, because this is a large and scary creature. I mean, there is a thing in this game where if you're fighting anything that is larger than you, you're intimidated by it. There's a thing called fear. And you just have to make, I think it's an, oh god, I lost the page now. I think it was an easy, or was it normal cool roll? Don't worry, it'll be on your initiative. You don't have to roll it now. But I've now somehow managed to lose the roll. I think it's a standard roll, so it's plus 20. But I'm having a side roll where if the NPCs fail it, they're going to run in terror, which will definitely not help your chances.
No.
So, Elsa, first of all, is going to be, and she makes it.
Hey.
Aren't you all glad of that? So, she's going to try and stab at the terrifying monster's face right in front of her. So she's kind of right next to you, Kruger, kind of dead center. So the beast's jaw is kind of just above your two heads. So she's just kind of, it's almost difficult to get kind of her long sword up there, but she's going to have a go. See how she rolls. She rolls well. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's plenty of bonuses here because it's stuck in the door for one thing. I won't go through them for her, but she definitely hits. So she gets 1, 2, 3. And it's got, okay, so she does 1 damage because it's got some toughness and some armor there. So she manages to kind of nick and stab across its jawline, and it takes 1 wound.
Okay.
It's worth noting that Elsa has an advantage there as well.
I was going to say this is Elsa as well, who basically tore apart like 1,000 creatures last session.
Yeah, it is indeed.
Cool. Good.
Now, let's see
Does
if
Elsa need a servant?
I love it. Let's see if unnamed dwarven woman. Oh, they're rolling pretty well. No, that's going to be below her cool as well. So she also will stay put, and I don't think from where she is she can genuinely reach this thing because she's not particularly tall, even for a dwarf, and she doesn't have any long weapons, and it's way above head height, so she can't hit the thing, whatever she'd like to do. So instead, she's going to kind of withdraw from the door, seeing there's no purpose to holding it, and kind of hold her a hammer she had at her belt and kind of get ready to throw it at the beast next turn. And that leaves Boniface. What were you doing, Justin? If actually you don't have to make a cool check if you're going to be running in the opposite direction.
I did pass my cool roll.
Okay, that's fine.
But what I would like, I can make my way back towards the armory, so to speak. But I would like to look at whether there appears to be anything like a chandelier or a font lid or anything else that would be conveniently cut and dropped from a large height, perhaps up in the rafters of the church, onto this creature, a la Warner Brothers Looney Tunes style.
Oh, it's not really a chandelier sort of place, I don't
Can I not? Does this game not have any kind of mechanism for me to insert that into the plot?
I was going to say, well, I think what you could perhaps have would be like, say there's like a big, heavy set of like Warhammers that are hanging over the front door that you reckon like you could see like there's like a rope tied up to the side of the door that clearly like lever them up and down with, and if you cut that rope, perhaps that would fall over the like doorway, and that would hurt. Like you'd imagine that would squish someone, so that would probably hurt whenever it hits.
If you crush Elsa, there's going to be trouble.
Well, I think I would probably say this to Henrik as I rush back to get a shield for Kruger.
Okay, I feel like it's kind of a tricky thing to say. Like, look over there. There's
Hammer's door above the door. That's what I say. That's all I say.
Okay, cool. That's fine.
That's all you got.
You say that. And I'd say in your go, are you just flat out sprinting? Otherwise, right?
I can't. That was a direct order.
You're flat out sprinting towards the back room to get the.
I can roll an athletics check if you like.
No, that's good. I'm just trying to get an idea. So you basically, by the end of your movement, you're kind of at that back door of the temple. You haven't got the shield yet, but you're there. So I can just about see that is you, Henrik.
So where are the ropes that are holding the Warhammers in place?
So they're to the right of the door frame. So they're kind of against the wall the door is in, if you see what I mean, the front wall.
All the way over here.
Yeah, they're kind of the opposite side from you as well, because the font's slightly to the left of the main aisle, so it's on the other side. I can bring up the map if we like.
Could I, is it something I could, make it and still affect them in the same turn?
I would say yes, but you might not be able to cut it this turn, if you see what I mean. You get there and you could have a swing at it, but it's no guarantee that you'd be able to cut through the rope perfectly.
But is it not? Hang on. Are other people near the door closer?
Yes. It might well be that if you simply were to wait for Father Stillman or Kruger or someone else, they could do it. It also depends, of course, if they're going to still be underneath it.
That's true.
So it might be sensible for one of the last people in the initiative to do it, given that Okri presumably ain't going to move until their initiative. So if someone else drops the hammers while Okri hasn't had a chance to do anything, that would be a bit unfair.
I think I'm going to go with my general policy of ignoring most of the things Boniface says. And I'm just going to sling a rock at it.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. So it doesn't get to defend against it, so you just go straight for a whack.
Okay.
You got everything you need.
I think so.
Mhm.
What's my modifier again?
It's big, but you can only see part of it. But it's also kind of not paying any attention to you. So I'd say, and it's braced, as in it can't really move in the position it's in immediately. So I'm going to say it's a plus 20.
Damn it. That is 1 point over. Our fate recovered at the end of last session, didn't it?
Yes. Oh, I can't believe I forgot to mention that. Yes, your fortune points have got back, because we said every 2
Excellent.
sessions you would get fortune points back. So fortune points completely renewed, except Henrik's, who just spent one for no good reason at all, because that roll still failed.
Is 96 a critical fail?
Yeah, that is indeed a critical fail. Ooh, looks like there's a chance you might hit a friend. Let's have
Can
a
I spend
roll.
another fate point?
No, you can't. You cannot. So who's still
Oh,
at the
dear.
door? Those else.
Disaster.
If you kill an NPC, there's
Oh, it's Kruger.
oh Jesus, really?
I was going to say, surely killing a PC is worse.
John, what's your damage on your sling?
Where is it? +6.
Okay.
So that's success level +6. Oh, but it was a hang on.
I mean, it was a botched success, so I would say
Right.
that's basically a 0 on top of the
Yeah.
+6. It wasn't directed or aimed in any manner. So
That's still 6 damage to
6
Kruger.
damage, but Kruger's toughness and armor will negate that. And I'm going to
Okay.
say,
Well,
it
as long as you hit me
you-
in the body.
I'm going to.
It does.
Yes.
Reverse.
It does.
Yes.
Yeah, it does. What's your toughness bonus plus armor in your body?
So toughness bonus is 3, and I have 2 points of armor on my
Uh-huh.
body, just on my body, because that's all you get as a recruit.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that's just one wound, I believe.
One wound. So basically, you get a bit of a bruise at your shoulder blade. From behind you.
I'll spin around and glare.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, Boniface.
You need to be careful of falling rocks.
It was clearly the servant. Oh, so cruel. Father Stillman is holding a spear, and he is going to jab at this thing. Doesn't seem like he knows he's a particularly experienced combatant, but he's definitely. Oh wait, no, I need to roll his cool. Nope, I said I wasn't going to roll his cool because he's a priest of Sigmar, so he doesn't have to roll. The only one who doesn't have to. I had a feeling all the NPCs were going to run, and I was like, well, I can't have that with everyone. So, what are you going to say?
Worth saying, I did succeed my call check.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to ask, didn't I? Good job, good job.
Fine.
Okay, so he's not as competent as he looks. That there's a botch. Well, he's not going to hit anyone else because of his position, but he thrusts his spear at the terrifying monster ahead of him, and it clangs off the metal on the end of one of the horns and clatters straight out of his hand as it kind of jars, and he looks down at his hand like gripping it like that. So he has successfully disarmed himself against the beast's horn.
Amazing.
And Kruger, that's yours, isn't it? Thanks for tracking the advantage there, John, by the way. Or wounds as well. I forgot that to say for Kruger.
Okay. Is it really me? I was presuming loads of people will go ahead of me, but
You are exactly halfway through the initiative.
wow. Okay.
So Boniface has just yelled the hammer thing as well. If it's something people want to bear in mind, that's it. You don't have to.
Well, I guess whilst I'm here, I will kind of look up and try and judge
Mhm.
where where the hammers are and what they would fall on.
As you look up, you see they're basically right above your head, and as given you're below its head, that would mean it would be perfect if it stays where it is. Speaking of stays where it is, it's halfway through, so it's time for it to roll. But I'll let you do your turn first.
Okay. Well, I guess first of all I should make my cool roll.
Mhm.
Don't like that.
Oh,
So what
plus
was it?
20 total.
Plus 20.
Because it's an average, which I think is plus 20.
Yeah, that wouldn't make it. Now here is a question about resolve. Because is the fear like a psychology effect?
Fear is a psychology effect. That's true. So you can just spend a resolve to ignore that effect, can't you?
Yeah, I think I will. Yes.
Yeah. So if you don't, if you leave the fear there, what happens is you can still attack it, but you'll be at a -1 success level for everything, and you can't move back towards it if you move away. That's how that works.
God.
So technically,
Okay,
if you're
right.
where you are, you're fine. But if you back up, you don't have the resolve
go
to
forward,
move,
right.
engage again. Yeah. So, or if it moves away from you, you can't chase it.
But
So you
spending
pass.
resolve, this is only, my God, okay, I think it is only for one round.
If it's any consolation, you get to re-roll your cool next turn too. So if you did fail, you can try again.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I think Kruger's going to, try and hold himself together. Spending one resolve point. And so there's nobody else. So there's nobody else in danger of getting crushed by the hammers.
You,
Or is there?
Rorak, and Okri are all still against the door position. You three have not yet moved.
Okay, so we can't activate the hammers until we get people out of the way.
Certainly, you're most of the center. If there's any consolation,
Right.
Well, Elsa and you to a certain extent, but Elsa's kind of moved to the side slightly in the process of stabbing at it. So
I think I will yell to Elsa, like I kind of point at the hammers and sort of yell a question of can we drop them? But in the meantime, I will simply attack.
Go ahead, make your attack.
Oh, hello. Oh dear. Oh shit. Can one can one spend fortune if you've botched?
I think you can re-roll a botch. Yes, as far as I'm aware. Let me get my other sheet.
Whether on the house rule that. But,
no, I don't. I think you're allowed to wait.
Cue everyone's PCs
Remember
because they search
the doubles rule as well when you roll.
Oh, yeah. I really want to re-roll this. I rolled 99.
99. God.
I really want to re-roll this. I was
let's
put
see
off
what the actual
by Boniface with that sling.
Yeah, that was me. Oh no, you're right. Sorry, that was Boniface. Yeah.
It says it does say re-roll a failed test. There is nothing about botching,
right.
so I think you can re-roll.
Well, I'm going to spend a fortune and re-roll. That's better. I rolled a 10 this time.
That's much better.
So, what was the difficulty of this test?
So you're right up close. It's stuck in the door above you. You don't have the same problem Henrik has because you can't see so much of it because it's right in your face. So yours will be a plus 40 because you outnumber it. It's stuck in the door and it's big and close.
Okay. Well,
many success levels then.
That is many success levels because that's plus 40 on melee basic, which is 55 for me. So 95 I had to roll under.
You were so close to getting it last time.
I was so close to getting it last time.
So how many success levels is that then?
9,
8?
That's 8. 8. Yes.
8 success levels. That's good. That's a good number of success levels. So it has toughness bonus 4 and it has 1. So you managed to do
right in the eye.
3 damage.
Hang on.
A rather dramatic.
Hang on. No, 8 is a success level. So add on unless you're doing it already.
Sorry, plus your weapon bonus. What's your weapon bonus?
Yes, so it's 8 plus 3 plus 7. Hang on, 8 plus 3 plus 4, which is so 15.
Oh wow, that's a lot. Where's your
That's good.
two bonus damage things come from? Oh, from your strength bonus, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
So,
nice.
yeah.
You shouldn't have given
15.
so many bonuses to that roll.
So you managed to do 9 damage to it. Very nice. So with a rather dramatic slash, you're going right for the jugular of the beast, and you hit it. You don't
Nice.
sever anything that looks like it's lethal damage, but that horrible black Icarus blood pours from the neck, and you see it roar and bellow in rage and pain at the rather terrible wound you managed to inflict upon the creature. And
That's how
I'm
you do
going
it.
to. It's now time for it to get a roll.
Oh,
I know it's not its turn, but I've got a special rule in it. And
Don't like that.
it fails. It's actually one off botching, but it didn't botch. So we shall continue.
Eat it, weird monster thing.
And now we've got 2 soldiers. Let's see how they do with their cool rolls. Oh, that one's running for his life. So one of the soldiers just drops his sword. I don't know. He doesn't have a sword. Drops his spear. They're nowhere near as well armed as they are in that picture. That was just the best picture I could find of a middle ground. Drops his spear and just starts running for the back of the hall. Doesn't
Is
even
there-
make a noise other than that.
Is there a chance of him coming back, or shall I just?
Yeah, he'll make a roll next round.
Okay.
Also, if anyone wants to on their go once people have fled, they can try and inspire them to come back too. Now that they've seen that happen, depends what your circumstances are. And the other one, oh wait, that's he was 1 off. Oh,
one off passing.
one
or
off,
One off.
one off,
Firing?
one off passing. So you failed. I think this one looks stoic because he was so close. Holds his spear and
Stoically slinks off.
makes an effort to stab at it, but he's clearly 3 feet away from the end of the spear even contacting, and is kind of shaking and is slowly backing away into one corner. And
fair.
Rorak. Let's see if Rorak's got prior high willpower. So, that's a bad roll though. So that's
Great. It will just look even more amazing when we are victorious.
I mean, Kruger's made a good dent. 50, 65. No, he's 20 off with that. It's too high a roll. Rorak breaks his hold on the door, perhaps shaming dwarf kind. Drops the short sword that he was holding and goes to kind of cower behind a pew nearby. Cowardly action for a dwarf, certainly. And finally, Okri. Make your cool roll, first of all.
I have a cool of 56, and I
Plus
rolled
20.
54. So I'm
Wow.
quite well under.
Yeah, dwarves are really good for cool. Rorak rolled an 89 and only just failed that. So yeah. So Okri, if there's anything you want to do other than just yell aspersions at Rorak, let me know.
I mean, I think, to be honest, as Rorak is running away, Okri will be sort of mumbling rather than yelling at him because he's putting a lot of effort into holding the door. It doesn't have that much energy to shout. Does it feel at this point like the door is close to giving?
Well, I'll tell you what, you would have been fearful that a moment ago the beast might have broken fully through and thrown you to the floor, but it did not happen. So perhaps your effort of holding the door is keeping it at bay somewhat, or perhaps it's just kind of stumbled. It's difficult to tell.
Maybe just lost its grip.
From where you are, you could probably try and have a swing at it. Just about. You're quite tall after all.
That's what I'm wondering, but I'm
could,
also thinking: do I keep, trying to hold the door?
Yeah,
I'm not aware of the hammer situation, am I? Okri isn't aware of the.
I'll tell you what, you can give me a perception because I don't think it was yelled at you, and you're kind of down low holding the door, but maybe.
No, I rolled an 80, so I have no idea.
How would him being shorter mean that he didn't hear Boniface shouting?
I mean, I was
the sound waves went.
Oh yeah,
the sound waves were directed
He's
high.
literally below my attention.
It's canon now. Shush, John. Shush.
Is it just me holding the door now? Is Kruger? No, Kruger's not holding the door because sliced it.
Yeah, effectively, you're the only one actually braced against the wood a bit below it. Everyone else is trying to hit the thing now.
Yeah, Okri's just going to redouble his efforts on bracing the door. Then I think.
Go for it. Give me a
In
strength.
the hopes that it will allow other people to, have some extra attacks.
You know what?
from
I'll be
that.
fair to you as well, because I know your toughness is higher than your strength. I'll let you roll a toughness just because you're not trying to push back. You're just trying to not move, right? You're trying to just be there and not allow it to move forward.
It's not good. I rolled a 67. My
Okay,
toughness is 48.
Okay. In that case,
Do I use a fortune?
yeah.
My
This
my
was a
one
flat roll,
fortune point.
You only have one.
Yeah,
I'm a
dwarves.
dwarf.
Dwarves get none,
Ooh-wee.
I think, or maybe just one. He might have got one
Yeah.
somewhere else.
I'm going to use it. I'm going to use my one fortune point.
Mm-hmm.
Now you'll
Try
crit
that
fail.
again.
and
I was going to
everybody
say, so it's
will
botched. You just open the door for the thing.
What's a botch?
95 plus. Or is it
95 plus
Is
or
it
96
96?
plus? This is
No.
a very important difference.
Let me
Oh my
double
God.
check. I
Oh
think
my
it might
God.
be 96 plus actually.
I think it's
Probably the
96
last.
plus.
It's probably the last
I'm-
5. Yeah.
If that would be great for me.
Mhm. 96 to 100.
Amazing.
Then Okri has just failed again.
I bet you're so glad you used that fortune.
We're doing great,
Yeah,
guys.
really
We're
have.
Good
enjoying it.
record of fortune use here, folks. Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, your failure to hold the door and the fact everyone else has let go gives it a bit of a bonus now. So it's going to be a.
Okri's going to get trampled, isn't
That
he?
is enough. So at the start of its turn, the terrifying monster, bellowing in rage, forces its way through huge, like tree trunk kind of thickness arms, like battering the remainder of the door aside, and large, like thick cloven hooved feet tramping through. Okri, you are indeed bashed to the side. It doesn't trample on you. You don't take any immediate damage from it. You're just knocked down, pushed over, thankfully. Although we'll see. You are prone, however. So for the moment, you'll need to at least get up before you can act. And go on.
Just rules clarification. In the rules for this, is it like it uses your movement and you still get an action, or does it take your whole turn?
I'll tell you
you're
what,
prone.
there's a condition in the combat section called prone. Do you
Okay,
want to find
I'll
that for
find
me?
it.
Because that tells you the details of what prone means. Thank you. I think you could get up and attack, or it might need a check, but you can check. And then it is going to bellow at the top of its lungs and slash out for the nearest individual, which is going to be one of 2 people. And I'm going to weigh it slightly towards Kruger here because it knows who hit it, but it's still quite a random creature. It is indeed Kruger. Kruger,
Where's my shield?
are you feeling?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Just come back to give your master his shield and just like mush in the floor.
He has no arms to carry the shield.
Oh god. Okay, Kruger. Let's see how this is going to go. So it has an axe that is a little larger than you and looks significantly heavier than you.
Great.
And it's going to swing wildly, madly, and while also covering you in saliva and now blood,
Nice.
swing the axe directly at your face.
And this is an opposed melee,
It is
I
indeed.
presume. Right. So I roll as
you
well.
You roll yours as well, and then we'll see how you do.
And
You
Kruger has
do have an advantage there as well, Kruger.
Right. Okay. So I'm at advantage 1.
And you also have a plus 20 on it because it is large and you are not, which means you find it easier to hit it. Than
Oh
it
God.
versus
Okay.
you.
Right.
And you also get a plus 10 for outnumbering it. I'm going to lower that advantage. It could
Sure.
be bigger, but you're kind of not all right on top of it at this point. So you have a plus 30 on it.
That's plus 30 before advantage. Or was it
Yeah.
including advantage?
So you get plus 40 with your advantage. Yeah. So
Jeez.
tot up your total success level, and then I'll let you know what it got.
Okay. Well, again, so that's 55. So my melee basic score is 55. The bonus is tot up to 40. That's 95 again. I rolled 35.
Oof.
So that's a success level of 6. Yikes.
Yep. Well, it rolled well. It got a success level of 4, but you do indeed manage to defeat it. So I think you managed to kind of you're not really deflecting that blow, but you're ready for it when it comes through the door. You know, you've seen this coming for a moment. It's clearly a huge angry monster, and it is about to come through this door. So the moment it kind of swings for you, as you were expecting, you just step to one side, and the blade smashes where you were a split second earlier, and crunches through the kind of stone tile floor and embeds itself maybe like a couple of inches deep into that ground where you were a moment earlier.
Yikes.
You're glad you moved.
Shield!
you hear that, Boniface?
I don't think I remember any shields being in that room.
Yeah. Just looking around.
Like coffee maker, soap, you know.
I feel like we're going to get Boniface ends up jumping out the window and running to the next village just to retrieve a shield.
Hey, they're bars in the way.
You'll see him again a week later once he's bartered with the trader.
The prone rule, just because it may become relevant, not on my turn. So your move can only be used to stand up or crawl at half your movement in yards. It doesn't say that you lose your other action. But also you suffer a -20 penalty to all tests involving movement of any kind, and any opponent trying to strike you in melee combat gains +20 to hit you.
Gotcha. Okay. So in this circumstance, it's not so bad, given there's one opponent, but in a kind of raging combat, that could really hurt you. Cool. Okay.
And just to check, because I won that opposed melee, does my advantage go up?
It does, and John has already plussed your advantage there as well.
Excellent.
Yep.
Even better.
Keeping an
Marvelous.
eye. John's doing an excellent job with this tracker, I must admit. Thank you, John.
Hope this helps.
It's helping me. It's really useful.
Yeah.
My job is way easier now John's doing this. I don't know about everyone else. But
yeah, let us
excellent.
know in chat if, as the audience, you are finding this good or bad or terrible or whatever.
Screw the audience. I like it. We should keep doing it.
That's fair.
Anyway, background. Elsa. Let's see. She's made her cool roll, so she doesn't need to make it again. And okay.
She has an advantage.
She does have an advantage, so 80 plus 1 sec, mental math. Oh, she gets 1. Okay, she gets 1 success level because there's a lot of plus going on. Okay, so that is, I think she just managed to kind of nick it on the leg with her +1 success level, and that does no damage with a +1 success level. It's kind of a neutral. So she managed. Oh no, sorry, 1 damage. She has a strength bonus too. 1 damage. So she manages to kind of nick it on the leg because it's kind of stepped slightly past her now as it's come through the doorway, and she's kind of reacting. She doesn't manage to get a good strike on it, but she's slashed along its scarf. You don't know if it's really felt it very much, but it's hopefully, excuse me, hopefully done something. So we have the unnamed dwarven lass, who might have a name at some point. I don't know yet. She's not rolling well. So I think she was ready to throw, prepared to throw that hammer where the creature was, but it's moved now. So she's kind of thrown off balance a bit by it suddenly coming through the doorway, and in shock she throws the hammer, but it goes like wild and flies just over the monster's head and clatters against the wall behind. Not a fumble. Boniface.
So arriving at the armory storeroom, broom cupboard, is there anything resembling a shield?
There are 2 shields. One is like a dueling buckler, and one is like a larger kind of, it's not huge, but like a cavalryman shield.
Cool.
Like an old battered one that looks like it's seen a lot of wear and use, but it would do the job for now.
I definitely will grab the bigger one. Is there a limit on how much I can carry? I'm thinking of just carrying as much shit as I can.
You can just grab handful. It's like a thing where the more you grab, the longer it'll take to pick it up, and the slower you might go. So
can I make an athletics roll to try and do it speedily? Thank you.
Go ahead.
I rolled 36, and my athletics is better than that. I'm as good. I think that's probably. I got 41 on athletics.
Plus 20 anyway. It's not an exceptionally difficult thing to grab.
So I'm going to grab. So Okri's got his hammer, which looks reasonably sturdy, but Heinrich's not got a melee weapon.
Just a knife, I think, for you, Henrik, right?
Henrik has a dagger.
Yeah.
A dagger. Well, in that case, I would like to grab a sword, a spear, and 2 shields.
Okay, cool. The buckler and the proper shield. Makes sense.
Yeah.
There is 1 sword in here, so you grab the only sword.
Yep.
And
Henrik's going to get that.
Cool.
And then I'm going to just run back out again
Okay, cool.
and like drop the sword off. My things will be drop the sword off by Henrik, like
Mhm.
just near the pulpit, with a loud clatter. Maybe just throw it in his general direction.
Yep.
And then get the shield to Kruger while like I was
Yeah,
strapping the
all
buckler
good.
to my
all
own
good.
arm.
Very squire in battle like. I like it.
Yeah.
So I think you're just at the end of that round, given your good athletics check.
Yeah,
you've
I
just
think like
dropped-
halfway there or something. Would
You've
be,
just at the point of dropping the sword, so you haven't reached Kruger
Yeah,
yet. So you
that
get
makes
to Kruger
sense
by
to me.
next round. Cool. That makes sense. You passed your cool check as well, didn't you? So you're not like frightened by running back towards the monster. Did you, Justin? Pass your cool check?
not this round, but I'm only
No,
going
no,
to
it's all good.
Henrik.
You just
Oh
got
yeah, ages
muscle
ago.
points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ages ago I did. Yeah.
Cool. All good. Okay, Henrik. A sword has just been clattered dropped below you if you want to go and go out to your pulpit, but you're welcome to keep shooting if you like to.
My slings are one-handed, right?
Yeah.
No, I guess you need the other hand to load
I
it.
mean, you need to load it, but you could, you could load a sling with a sword in your hand. Just hold the sword and put the stone in. That wouldn't be that hard to do.
Seems like a good way to hit yourself in the face with a sword.
You don't need the sword until there's someone
Or
right
Kruger
on-
again.
You know what I mean?
That is
Yeah. Oops, I've accidentally stabbed Kruger while loading my sling.
I'm gonna like, I guess, indicate that I have accepted it by like maybe kicking it closer to myself or something, like
Cool.
kicking it into easier reach, and then let off another sling attack.
Does that mean you're getting off your pulpit? Because I was going to give you a bonus for being in your pulpit this round.
I wasn't planning on.
Okay. Well, you can't kick the sword yet because the pulpit's like, it's a
It's
good
at
like
the
10
base of the
feet up.
pulpit.
You know what I mean?
Oh, got it.
10 foot's pretty high for a pulpit. You know.
Yeah, I've seen some 10-foot pulpits.
I mean, the
It's
lectern, like the top of the. Am I standing like on the top of the lectern, or am I just standing on the plinth?
It's up to you. Where do you want to be standing?
I mean, in my experience, lecterns aren't that sturdy.
That would have been a fun botch. Fair enough.
In Sigmar's church, they're the
I was
sturdiest
gonna
lecterns
say-
I've ever seen.
I was also going to say, maybe Sigmarite pulpits are 35 feet tall. How do you know, Boniface? I mean, you would know. How do you know, Justin?
Either way, I'm gonna.
Yes, go ahead. Make your shot. So I'm going to say it is plus 20 for being its size, plus 10, plus 20 for being outnumbered because it is now in the middle of people, but it's also free and moving. So I'm going to give you a minus 10 just because it's just burst through the door.
Okay.
And any
in that-
advantage you have? Didn't you make
I
your last shot? So you would be at advantage. Or is that only in melee? Oh, maybe it's
I
in
didn't. No, it's in range as well, but I didn't.
Oh,
make
no,
my
you made your last shot
because
on
I hit
Kruger.
Kruger.
Yeah, you
Sorry.
hit
I
somebody
forgot
with
that
your
you
shot.
hit
You didn't.
someone
yeah.
you weren't supposed to hit.
So my target is 50, and I got 43.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's no
one.
success levels.
That counts as one.
Oh, one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
it's 4 to 5.
Got it. Plus 6, so 7.
Yep, that's very nice. So 7 has 1, 2. What part of the body was that? Sorry.
That is 34. So that is.
By the way, you might notice I didn't ask for parts of the body for everyone. If for people watching, I'm doing it narratively for people who are engaged with the monster because it's a very large creature and it was stuck in the door and things. But Henrik is shooting it when it's in the open, so there's no real narrative choice for me there. Just if people are curious.
That makes sense. I hit it in the right arm.
Right arm, cool. And a right arm, it has only 1 armor. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it takes 5 off your damage.
So 2.
Yep.
Oof.
Nice job. So you whack it basically right in the meat of the upper kind of tree trunk sized arm, but you managed to hit it in such a way that it kind of, you weren't sure if you did anything significant, but you see the creature kind of like shake its arm like it's hurt, and it's like makes another bellowing sound. So whatever you did clearly injured it in some manner.
Good.
It's not looking happy, I'll say that, but it's still flailing and trying to kill you all. Okay. So let me my thing. It is Father Stillman. Father Stillman, who managed to disarm himself. So he's gonna. You know what? For the fact that he disarmed himself against it, I'm gonna make him make a cool check. Not because he's terrified of the monster, just because he's just very shaken by the whole circumstance because he's not really a warrior. But he aces the cool check. Father Stillman, I think, picks up his spear and then yells "For Sigma!" and then charges right at the rear end of the Minotaur because it's basically gone past him with the spear pointed towards it. And
PG-13.
he fails again.
Oh.
Poor Father Stillman. I think he's just not holding the spear hard enough. And it just kind of it doesn't leave his hands this time, but he just kind of goes, "Ugh," and it kind of jerks him forwards, and he finds himself kind of leached forwards, and it's kind of like bumped against the back of the monster, but that's all that's really happened. It doesn't seem to have gone in at all.
Oh dear.
You can't fault him for his effort. A for effort.
I mean, the main trick there is not to yell your god's name until you're certain you've hit.
Well, what that's going to do is give the 3 people who failed their checks a plus on their roll, though, at least.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, and anyway, so now it's Kruger.
Well, I guess him yelling for Sigmar doesn't help me because Ulrich is.
Yeah, that's true as well. Even if it would,
it may fill you with the urge to do better.
Yes,
to prove Sigmar's not all that hot. You know.
Well, I have
just
to make
for Ulrich and then stab it and kill it.
Ulrich's better. Well, I have to make a cool test first, I guess.
No, the cool test is just the once.
Okay, right.
You are no longer.
Oh no, I failed. Right.
Oh, sorry, you spent the thing. No, I think the spend the thing isn't. Or does that negate?
Oh, hang on. Oh, it
permanently,
lasts.
or does it just negate it once? That's a good question.
It lasts until the end of the next round, actually.
Making the check lasts. You've overcome your fear effectively. But does that just mean you don't have to roll it, or does it actually?
Spending resolve. Become immune to psychology until the end of the next round.
Oh, so you would have to do it again. You're right. My apologies.
But
so it just deferred it effectively.
Yes, but this is still the next round. So
yeah, this is the end of the next round. Yeah, you get. Yeah. Does that mean you get 2 rounds? Yeah, sounds like you get 2 rounds.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
that sounds right.
Okay, so yes, you don't have to roll it this round. You are still immune.
Good.
Despite the fact it's right in your face and trying to hit you with the giant axe, but you did a good job of dodging it. So
yeah. So now I have an advantage of +2.
Yes, I'm going to give because you just dodged an attack from it. Although you succeeded at dodging the attack, I'm going to give you a -20 just for the circumstances, since it is currently engaging you. You don't really have the advantage of it's currently outnumbered and you're holding it down, but you do have your +2 advantage anyway. If you see what I mean.
Okay, so
So you get a +20 for its size and your advantage, and that is all.
You mean he only gets +40?
Only +40, not +60, which is what others might get. It's easy to hit big things. It's like 40% of the total area around Kruger is terrifying monster.
Wow.
Do you like that description, John? I mean, that's an easy hit, right?
Yeah. Well, I might, in which case, yell, with Ulrich's power I smite thee, and then I don't smite thee very hard. I still hit, but that's only a success level of 1. Oh crap! And that's a
So what's your plus in total?
Opposed.
Oh yeah, it is a post.
Just 1. It's an opposed roll. Yeah.
You in this circumstance.
Crap.
Oh no, it's not. It's got a success level of -1, so you're all good.
Do I still hit?
Yes, you will hit. Your bonus total damage
will be 8.
8.
Success level of 1 +7.
So you managed to do what body location?
88.
So that is. Let me scroll down a bit on my sheet.
Yeah, I don't have the location table handy.
No, you're good. I've got it right here.
Did you factor in it
left
being
leg?
double?
Oh, double.
Oh, yeah, double. So
double.
you do
Crit.
hit. Crit. You managed to. Our first actual crit.
Thanks, John.
So exciting.
Nice.
I'm going to open my proper sheet now. Scroll to the criticals. Yeah, unfortunately, it's a low success level critical, which is a bit more boring. So critical on the left leg at 1 success level. Oh, sorry, there might be a bit of scrolling here. And I have the microphone. I need to get a better setup for this specific thing because the microphone is like right in front of the sheet.
It's we're not doing too badly in terms of the amount of stuff that we have to.
We're getting there. There we go.
Sam did share like a picture of his workspace earlier, and it was like, there's almost not room enough to roll dice there. It was very impressive.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the roll. Sorry, I haven't done a critical yet, so I'm just looking up the rules. Please, bit patient.
Please hold.
So, when you receive a critical wound by losing more wounds than you. Oh no, that's not. There. Yeah, when you receive a critical hit, you do not determine the strike location wherever. Okay, yeah. You do. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Instead, you roll a d100 and refer to. Yeah. Roll a d100 and refer to the appropriate critical table to determine what's happened. Okay. Modified by toughness bonus. These will never trigger a critical. Okay. Are there any modifiers for how bad it is, or is it just completely random? I think it's just completely random.
Page 172 for the table.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's just completely random.
It's not page 172 for the table at all. They lie.
Yeah, I know. You got a long way to go. It's page 174. Okay, well, I'm just going to roll. It sounds like it's just a random then. There's no modifier to that. So, and on the leg. That is a 50. So you have managed to badly cut its toe.
Nice.
After all of that.
Nice.
Oh, it's so funny. By the way, you
Ulrich,
don't
grant me strength.
You don't usually do criticals on all of bad guys, but because this is a big bad you're specifically fighting, it's fun to see what happens to it. This is the stuff that's designed for the player characters a lot as well. So it is now bleeding. If someone could look up the bleeding condition for me, that would be awesome to see what effect it has upon it. That's the only current significant thing.
That is lose 1 wound at the end of every round, ignoring all modifiers. Further, suffer a penalty of -10 to any tests to resist festering wounds, minor infection, or blood rot. If you reach 0 wounds, you no longer lose wounds and instead fall unconscious.
Okay, that's fine. That should be good. We don't need to hear about the healing and the other stuff because it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, by the way, for the slash on the neck earlier, which was totally obviously a bleeding wound, let's say that was like a crushing wound in the neck, because that I need to remember that the wound system in this game is set up so it's like non-critical wounds. So that was like a massive blow to the neck that like jarred its head and maybe gave it whiplash, but you didn't actually like pierce the skin to the extent that it was bleeding.
I mean, probably
however, this one is actually bleeding. So
I imagine bleeding is like a serious cut to an artery or something, whereas
exactly.
you probably get like a cut on them, like a muscle cut or something.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like it's the interesting
out.
thing where like this cut has done 1 damage and is bleeding, whereas the one that did 9 damage was just.
But you can nick an artery. You can nick an artery and it'd be a really serious issue, or you can get a deep flesh cut and it avoids any serious organs and that kind of thing.
Yeah, but it could be much more traumatic, effectively, in a sense.
If you've ever watched wrestling of someone like nicking their scalp or something and then watching Ric Flair covered in blood like 10 minutes later, it's only a minor cut, but you lose a lot of blood.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what's happened to this monster's toe. So it's pouring that black oozing blood everywhere. So it's like it's like above the hoof line. You just like jammed your. I'll tell you what you did. You managed to jam your sword in between the hooves.
Ow.
That's a good point. It doesn't have toes.
I mean, it's got hooves. Hooves can bleed. I mean, the bit between hooves can definitely bleed. That's what you've done. It looks very painful.
Do your hooves
pouring
bleed?
with blood. It's got like a limp to it now.
So that was only 1 actual wound, though.
That was
right?
only 1 actual wound, but it will get a wound at the end of each round now.
Cool.
Now then, that was a critical, but there was like 8 damage. But does that just get transmuted into 1 critical? Is that the way it works?
Yeah. So the critical is like on top of the damage. It's not extra damage in any way.
Oh, okay.
The critical is just like a feature of the damage, effectively, like an extra description when something significant has happened. That's the idea for a critical. It's not extra damage in a sense. Some of them can do extra damage though, like they have.
It's not like our Forbidden Lands stuff.
For example, that if you get 100 for a head critical, you've just decapitated them. So there's some criticals that are very effective.
So something to aim for.
Indeed. So soldiers, they have a +10 to their roll to not be terrified of this monster now. 30. This is the guy who ran sprinting right to the opposite end of the temple, and he does return, but he's not sprinting back. So I'd say at this point, probably only maybe Boniface and Henrico even noticed that this guy is kind of halfway back down the temple, holding his spear, looking maps ashamed, but like he can't abandon everyone else just to die to this monster. And the other one also returns. So this one has dropped his spear, is now picks up his spear, and perhaps buoyed by the Four Sigmar of Father Stillman, leaps towards the beast and tries to stab it. Again, kind of low down. So he's close enough to have a go at an attack, which he misses. But he doesn't fumble. That was a pretty bad roll. Only a 2 off fumble, but that will not be good enough. So yeah, he just completely misses the thing, despite the size of it. He just leapt and misjudged the leap when it's moving and just flies kind of past in a rather slightly comical manner in the moment, perhaps, where he's just like, ah, and just kind of leaps over the background. Anyway, Rorak, the shameful dwarf. Oh, he also makes his check. So I think Rorak isn't fast enough to get back into combat now, but he, you hear him say, "What am I doing?" And then kind of slams the ground on the where he is and hauls himself up and leaps himself over the kind of church seats. What are they called?
Pews.
Pews. Thank you. He leaps over the pew. I got that word earlier. Leaps over the wooden pews and has a small kind of. I think I said actually he has a short sword. He has his small short sword kind of drawn, ready to strike at the beast. Okri.
While I'm standing, I'm going to, I think, in Kazaleed, say, "Nice of you to join us," to Rorak as he's coming back over. Am I within striking distance of this creature? That's because I can't move, so if it's literally right there.
I think it's stepped forward a few paces to get to Kruger, so probably not. No, actually, where you are immediately, to be fair.
Okay. In that case, I will.
Kruger, did
can't
you ever
move at
yell
all.
oil?
Yeah, but no one's paid
definitely.
attention.
Okay, no, I'm just thinking about what might be happening in the
I
background.
was busy getting his shields.
Go on, sorry, Johnny. I just thought I'd get to me.
No, it's fine. I'm basically just going to assess the situation as I'm getting up because I can't do anything else if I'm not sort of. So yeah, try and fit. I suppose look around and try and figure out where might be an advantageous position to move to.
I'll tell you what, if you're feeling, if you're having a look around and thinking about where you might move, you can't help but note that like the back of the creature has like kind of this ragged, tattered cloth hanging from it. But you feel like from where you are, you're kind of perfectly positioned. That if you're feeling especially heroic, you could probably manage leaping right up upon it, and it wouldn't be able to get you off.
Good.
Just to keep in mind. And now we have the beast, which now has an extra wound added because it is bleeding. It's the end of the round, so I might as well say it then. And who hit it this turn? Was it only Kruger? Yeah, is that right?
Didn't Henrik hit with a sling?
Yes.
I mean, Henrik's
Yes.
at range.
And you hurt it more as well. Okay, yeah. And I think Elsa did like 1 damage as well, I think.
Oh yes, yeah.
So okay. So that is going to be Henrik has drawn its attention. So I think the beast roars and spins, kind of turning maybe a 90-degree angle from where it is to stare at Henrik in the pulpit and lowers its head and runs full pelt at the pulpit, not even thinking about Henrik. Well, thinking about Henrik, but not aiming directly for you. It's going to charge, hoping to knock the thing over. And it doesn't roll particularly well, but it has a huge bonus on charging because that's its thing. And now I'm going to scroll to this section. So I scroll into that section. Yep, that's a make it. That's a plus.
Can I try and jump off or
You
dodge?
absolutely can. You get I'm going to give you an opposed, I'll tell you what, no, just give me an athletics roll for that. Yeah, that makes sense because you're not blocking the attack.
Is Boniface close enough to this that would need to dodge too, or?
Athletics.
I'll tell you what I'd give you. I'd give you an athletics to put yourself in a good position after it's charged, if you see what I mean, rather than to be kind of thrown off by this.
Yeah, that didn't work.
I rolled a 7. So
It's a plus
that
20 to
is-
body fast and a neutral for Henrik, but that sounds great for Henrik.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well done. So yeah, Henrik, it takes a moment. It kind of stares directly at you and takes a moment for charging, and even kind of lifts a leg up, preparing for charge in that kind of ridiculous way that actually cows do, which is really cute. And you kind of register that moment, and you're aware what it's going to do. So you kind of at the exact moment when it kind of smashes through the pulpit, you leap, and you manage to leap off the pulpit. I think you managed the athletics roll perfectly, but it's a big leap, so I'm going to give you 1 wound just for landing on hard ground from a fair height. You weren't smashed in the process, but I was going to say, unless you got a critical success, you weren't going to have no damage whatsoever from that.
Okay.
Where is Rinda
Did
being
get-
roll this, by the way, Henrik? Sorry.
I did get, I think it was like 4 success levels.
No, I said that rule
No, that's fine.
beforehand. No,
Yep,
you can't
that's fine.
question me.
That's fine.
Wow.
Rinda was... I hadn't given him any specific instructions, so I imagine either next to me or at the foot of the pulpit.
Okay, cool. Rinda has acknowledged the dangerousness of the circumstances and is currently kind of moved to the corner of the temple, and is well out the way of that charge before it even happens.
Good.
I think you probably in your leap already think, "Where's Rinda?" in kind of midair, and just spot the dog in the corner, safely moved away. That was what I was asking.
Good.
But the Minotaur is now kind of over towards the corner of the temple, away from folks a bit. Does anyone want the map up, by the way, to have a look, or are we okay? We're not worried.
I'm good.
Yeah, I think I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a little bit away from the entranceway now. Most of the families and people have moved to the back of the temple, if not completely gone from where you're seeing, so perhaps to one of the other rooms. So they're safely out the way. Yeah, but it's kind of perhaps even stuck there for a moment. So perhaps there's an opportunity for you to use. And we're back round to the front of the group again, aren't we? So Elsa.
It's bleeding damage.
Elsa is going to yell, "Kill the creature now!" and then run charging at it. And do well. Yep. So that is 1, 2, plus 40. No. Plus 2, plus 50. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she gets 3, 4, minus 4 wounds in total on it as she stabs it right in the back. Her
Nice.
sword digs into the back of it. It's good. It's a good strike.
You got the 2 advantages, yeah?
Yes, I did get the 2 advantages. So Elsa has certainly struck the beast a mighty blow there. And again, it kind of reels, and it hasn't turned around yet, but certainly hurt. The small... Sorry.
So there was 4 wounds, yeah?
Yes.
Good.
The unnamed dwarven woman turns around, and now she has a chance to, remember to cap the advantage. That's true. Which is the initiative bonus for folks watching. And throws one of her hammers. Apparently, she has a few hammers stowed away on her person in different forms. And she gets, that's all right. So she's going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. It's a wound. The wound clangs again. I'll tell you what it does. It clangs against one of those metal horns, but it does it in such a way that because it's a big, hefty hammer she's just thrown, it kind of like knocks the beast's head kind of to the side as it hits the horn. It makes a rather fantastic noise in the process too. Boniface.
How injured does this creature look? Does it look like it's doing fine, or on its last legs, or does it look like it's
It's bleeding, it's limping,
Cool.
It seems exhausted. It's not looking well.
Boniface is going to charge the creature with his spear. Spears are extra critty. So
Did Kruger ever get that shield?
No, but the creature is between me and Kruger, and therefore I'll need to navigate past the creature to get there.
That is very reasonable. Fair. Yep, you charge. And you get a bonus on a charge, so that's going to be a plus 50 in total for you. Wait, you have no advantage. Yeah, plus 50 though, because it's also stuck and it's a outnumbered.
Oh. 50, you say?
Yep.
I think I'm going to use a resolve to re-roll. I would have hit, but I only just hit, and I want to get some success levels in this thing.
Humans have lots of resolve, Steve. Wait, no, you are a human. Why am I saying this?
Yeah, no, I was more.
Okay, yeah, that was a right decision because I hit now with a crit.
Oh, very
So-
nice. Very
It was
nice.
Spears crit on multiples of 10 or on doubles. I got a double.
Yeah, it's
Excellent.
fortune, not resolve.
Fortune,
Okay, so
yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, my apologies.
If you could give me your total damage, including your
So that
strength
would be
bonus
my
and
strength
your-
bonus
plus your
plus the
weapon
damage.
bonus.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Plus
that
your
would be
success levels.
So spears have a +4 to as a +4. So my strength bonus when I find it is also +4, and my success levels I had to get. What did I have to get? Did you say?
It was plus
Oh, yeah.
50 to your target.
+50 to my target. So my target, that makes my target 82. I get 3 success levels,
Mhm.
plus 4 strength, plus 4 weapons. That is a total of 11
Very nice. 11.
successes, and it's a crit.
And I'm going to find the crit now. So what part of the body did you hit? What was your number?
44.
D6.
44. Okay, so you're dead on right arm. So
I was hoping for the toe again, to be honest, but
no. So let's scroll to. Sorry. Scroll past the criticals. 107. There we go. Excellent. Okay, arm criticals. There we go. Arm. Ooh, that's a high roll.
Yes.
That's
No
a very
arm.
high roll. Oh.
are you trying to kill Steel, Boniface?
You
Can I just-
get it.
Yeah.
This was the right arm. Yeah, so this is the
Yeah.
arm it's holding the axe in. You embed your spear right into its elbow, and you literally, with the force of your charge at the impact, pop the sinew and tendon of the elbow of this beast clear
Yikes.
through, and the forearm doesn't come off, but it flops down, and the axe drops from its grip. You have rendered its right arm completely
Get out of
useless.
Sigmar's church. Something like that.
Wow.
And the beast bellows, but it's more of a scream of pain than it is of anger at this point, as it's clearly not happy. By the way, that was 11, so 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So 6 damage in total, that was.
Can I ever ended up on the Kruger side of the creature, whatever it is? You know, the
Yes,
horned
with your
creature.
very effective hit. I'm happy for you to be where you want to be.
I just swing round on the end of the spear. It's definitely less Legolas like, more like.
Physics ragdoll.
And Henrik, you're gonna put this thing out of its misery now. Definitely into misery now, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm gonna. Can I grab? Did the sword stay in my rough vicinity with the pulpit being?
Yeah, I think so. You haven't leapt like a long way away. You've just jumped down as effectively as possible. So you could jump for the sword now if you want. And given that it charged right next to you, I'm happy for you to make an attack as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up the sword and try and have a swing.
Yep.
At whichever part I can reach.
I'm going to give you just to be mean. I'm going to give you a -10 because you've never swung this sword before in your life.
That's fair. Let's get the right thing. So I got +2 advantage,
Mhm.
+20, -10.
Yeah.
Because the sword.
Mhm.
Any other?
+2, +20. Another 1 as well because of its position. As in plus advantage point, +10.
I was going to say.
yeah, that would be cruel. Are you there, John? Yes, you're
So
good.
yes. I
So
disappeared
it's
briefly.
50 in total, I think, for you.
50 in total. What?
Plus 50 in total because you've got +2 advantage, +20 for its size, and then plus another 10 for the position and overwhelm thing.
Wow.
And -10 for your
for the
sword, so plus
So
40
it's only
itself.
+40. So
Yes.
I rolled 46.
Mhm.
My target was 85. So that's
4 success levels.
4 successes.
You just do it by the 10s.
Yeah.
So 4 plus my strength bonus,
Mhm.
which is 2 plus 4,
I've got
10.
a sword bonus is.
Yeah, sword bonuses. A basic melee hand weapon is +4.
Yeah, so I'll give you a +5 for this weapon.
Oh, okay, then
Oh.
11.
Very nice.
That's level of
So 11,
4
and what
plus 2 plus 4. Yeah,
what number was the attack? As in
it
what?
was 46, so 64 to hit,
For
which
body.
is
That seems about right.
yes.
Yep. So that is going to be. Yep, you've done it with a dramatic stab in the kind of right in the center of its back. You pierce through the thick hide of the beast and find yourself as it bellows and cries. Something clearly punctured inside of it because it's not bellowing properly anymore. You find yourself wrenched from your feet as it topples forward against the wall, and you're rather dramatically standing on the back of the dead creature. As everyone around you stares at you. The monster has been felled.
And finally, Boniface hands over the shield.
Your shield, my lord.
I think I don't say anything. I think I just look out, slightly startled at everyone else, as if I'm not entirely sure what's going on.
Go on, Jonny.
Okri's going to spin around and look and see if anything else is coming through the door.
Yep, the door is now wide open.
Drat.
Okri, are you at a glance? You can see nothing. There's some.
I think I'm nearest the door out of everybody.
Yeah, you would be as well. Yeah. You okay? You can see out the door as well because you got night vision too. You see no sign. Oh no, you don't. Well, that's not fair actually. You do see Ungors outside as well as some slightly larger figures. It's difficult to pick out exactly what's there because there's a number of them and it is still dark outside in the rain, of course. But they seem to kind of be watching, as if they were watching the fight intently. At the sound of that, you hear some braying and some other noises of a bestial nature. And I think, although others probably have a moment to do things in this time while you're watching, perhaps you're standing at the door, kind of just trying to heft a weapon to make sure no one else is about to run in and look intimidating or something like that. If you're happy with that, they seem to kind of back down a bit and move away. Go ahead.
I think Okri's going to shout, "Get out, or you're next."
Yeah, absolutely. Is there an intimidation skill? There must be something like that, right?
Maybe leadership.
There must be in Warhammer.
There's an intimidate.
Oh yes, there is an
Intimidate,
actual-
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, roll intimidate.
I assume there's some bonuses to this.
What did you get?
I rolled a 90.
I mean, it was going to be a +20. It was kind of a downer
Nah.
because there's lots of them, but then an up because you've just killed a creature, so a +20 in total. But
Go
yeah.
away. No.
Yeah. You feel like you were mustering like a great yell, but it just didn't really. It wasn't as loud as you were expecting in the kind of night air, and you're not
more
sure if
winded
it
than
really
you expected.
carried very well.
You swallow
I
a
have
fly
just got up
halfway
off the
through.
floor.
Yeah. But nonetheless, they seem to be kind of withdrawing anyway, not running, not fleeing from the village, but they're certainly moving away. You don't know whether that means they're leaving or whether that just means they're kind of moving to another location for now or something. Anyone else acting immediately?
Yeah, I'm giving Kruger the shield.
Mm-hmm. It's an old, very worn cavalry shield you've been handed, but it looks like it would hold together for a while longer.
Yeah, I think there'll be a moment where Kruger looks at Boniface and then the corpse of this great thing and sort of sighs a bit. But
Wasn't
thank you.
Mr. Henrik so brave in slashing that creature down?
He
How is
was.
Mr.?
Does this beastie have a tail?
Yes, it does. It
Oh my
looks like a
God.
large cowtail.
Oh no! Are you going to wear that as well?
I'm not going to wear it, but I'm going to try and
braid
hack it
it
off
into
for a
his
memento.
hair.
Okay, you're committed to doing this just because you were going to do it. Are you barehanded or are you wearing gloves?
That's a point. I think Henrik I don't have them in equipment, but I think Henrik probably wears gloves.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's fair. Okay. In that case,
he's used to dealing with grossness, you know.
yeah, that makes perfect sense. In that case, you're all good.
It's terrifying. Excellent.
Okay. I think Elsa walks over, kind of kicks at one of the hooves of the creature and just goes, "Good work, everyone. Anyone injured?"
I was hit by something.
I must have been falling debris.
Just look up. Yeah. So I think, yeah, I'm kind of worried about the door, seeing Okri sort of framed by this huge splintered mess.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything we can do to, like, can we pile pews up in front of it, or is there anything that we could use to blockade the door? I'd be, I guess, asking Elsa as well. Like, do you have anything that we can reinforce the door with? There might be.
I think
they're frightened for now, but there might be more coming.
I think perhaps Rorak, in his desire to do something useful, starts already kind of you hear the kind of squeak of the the pews sliding across the floor, and everyone looks at Rorak, and he's like pointing at the door, like, yeah.
I was here the whole time.
Yeah. And yes, a few other some of the militia as well start dragging them across, clearly agreeing that this is a good idea. And before you know it, that is what's happening without really the decision being made, if you see what I mean.
I'll get stuck in.
Mm-hmm. Yep. After a little while, it's not too difficult work. I won't make you roll for anything. After a little while, you've managed to make a pile of pews and kind of other bits of furniture you could move that weren't sacred, as far as you're aware, up in front of the door frame. It certainly wouldn't stop someone clambering over. It would take them a moment, though, and that's, I suppose, what you're aiming for at the very least at this point.
Yeah, I'd also be sort of calling for, like, any archers that are around to get the bows from the stores and train them on the entrance. I don't know whether we can have, like, flaming arrows or stuff like that.
That's fine. That's fine. I think one of the militia who had a spear clearly has like an actual longbow that they have, so they look more proficient with. And he's like nodding away. Kind of wonder why they didn't shoot the bow early, to be honest. But perhaps it was all a bit of a bit in the moment. Yes, I think as you look around as well, you note that there's some families in the back of the temple. Some people are kind of coming up from a cellar trapdoor. Perhaps that's where they were hiding, seeing what's going on, hoping everyone up here isn't now just dead after that encounter. Probably somewhat relieved to see you alive. I think the older man, I don't think you got his name, of the family. Maybe you did, correct me if I'm wrong. He kind of looks around and he just gives like you a nod, Kruger, like he was like looking to see that you were okay after having come out from underneath. And then a few other people settle down. And it's not like people are doing anything in particular, but it seems like most people are just kind of praying in a moment of respite that they get in the back of the temple, a little bit away from the doorway, certainly. Doesn't seem like anyone was injured in that you didn't notice, which is good.
So really the question is, why is this here? I don't even know whether Kruger's seen one of these things before. I might have heard about
tales of them, and maybe you've seen like a horn, or maybe a skull that people had mounted, but you've never seen one in the flesh. So you believe these stories, but you've never seen one in person.
Yeah, Kruger is probably looking a little shaken. It has to be said. He's trying to put a brave face on it, but actually being in the same room as one of these things is a new experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, assuming the group's kind of just probably having a moment to rest, I assume you're not really racing off to do anything else at this immediate point. Let's say you all kind of settle down among the rest of the kind of the folks who are in there, as I said. There's not really anyone wounded, I was saying, but there are families praying to Sigmar. You hear people you see people sobbing as well. Probably it's quite a scary situation. Perhaps just out of curiosity, or perhaps just you overhear it. Kruger, you may end up for a moment with this family too. You hear the younger girl seems to be saying, "It's It's all my fault. I've brought them upon us. I know it's my fault. And the older man, the one who you saved, is like, no, hush, girl. It's nothing to do with us. It can't be. But you can't help but wonder what she means by that in that moment. It's an unusual thing to think for a young girl to be saying, certainly. I'm happy for you to try and look like you're not nearby, but keep listening if you like. Go on, Boniface. You could be nearby too because you probably.
No. I've got something else I'd like to be doing, if possible. I mean, I think it's apt time to be spreading as much gossip as possible about how my Lord Kruger saved the day, and making sure that when we leave this town, enough of a legend has gathered that we can, enable this this rapid social climbing that Boniface is all about.
Absolutely.
I'd like to do a gossip roll.
Yeah, you could do a gossip roll. I'm going to make it quite a hard one. People aren't really in gossiping mood right now, so I'm going to make it no bonus. No bonus.
they might not be in a mood, but I've rolled a 29. So
oh, you did it.
My gossip is 45, so that is 1 success level. Just basic.
2 to 4, so it's 2 success levels.
Okay.
So yeah, you do succeed. I think people, as I said, aren't particularly talkative, but they're certainly listening to you. And I think most people weren't literally watching the fight, so it ends up that probably most people here who weren't watching the fight leave with the assumption that Kruger killed the beast.
Sure. Yeah.
Was the one that slayed it. And unless Henrik is actively going around going, no.
I think I suggest so that we all took part, but obviously Kruger, if not the killing blow, the important, all the important blows.
You're not mentioning that,
decisive
it's not
ones.
really, though, right? Or maybe the if not is really quiet.
It was the
so
cut of the
easy
toe.
to assume,
Without the toe bleed, without his, he cleft its hoof in twain. If it wasn't for that.
To be fair, I think Kruger probably did do most damage.
Yeah.
Close.
I don't think Henrik would protest.
Okay.
But he does have the tail.
Yeah, true.
The tale tells itself, so to speak. It's a telling tale.
Indeed.
He said something.
Are you doing anything else in this time? Is anyone following up with anything, or?
I think so. I think is Father Stillman around? Because I would kind of want to maybe, go over to Father Stillman and get him to sort of come back with me to the family, like essentially tell Father Stillman that I overheard something, and use him as a sort of a way in, and hope for his presence. And
okay, I understand. Okay, Father Stillman is kind of ministering some families for a moment, so maybe perhaps you wait for a moment for him to stop, comforting another family, and then catch his attention. And he comes over to talk to you quietly. He's just like, yes, my son. What do you need? Are you injured?
Only slightly. Nothing to be concerned about. More that I heard the family outside. I don't know. The young girl seems concerned that this event had something to do with her. Now that must be ridiculous, but perhaps you can set her mind at ease. Perhaps you can talk to them and see what that's about.
I think you've earned his trust now. So Father Stillman kind of looks around. He notices you're kind of glancing at that family, and he says, well, something did happen near a month ago now. It wasn't her fault, but I think she heard something she wasn't supposed to. Well, there are things perhaps people like us shouldn't know about. Well, people like myself anyway. You're not so sure about you, my lord. But, well, it was only her duty as a good imperial citizen. She went to our great capital with her grandfather there. Don't know what she spoke of, but I believe that may have been what the good lord's representative was due to be here about. And I can't imagine how this relates to the creatures, the beasts. But Well, Lord Hellsconnect, he was here protecting us until not long ago, wasn't he?
And do you know what she heard?
She knows the full story, but something about a physician of the Lord. Honestly, I don't remember the full thing. It doesn't pay to understand everything going on sometimes. Those who are too inquisitive tend to disappear, if you know what I mean.
No, that is true. Very well. I will have a word and see whether I can help.
I suppose you're right. It's best to get to the bottom of this, one way or another, even if it's nothing to do with it.
Well, indeed, things seem to be escalating. I've never seen one of those creatures up close before, so certainly there seems to be something about this town that is drawing them. Though I doubt they would ever travel this far to this sort of location, ordinarily. So something is in play.
We have been forsaken, it would seem. And then someone else draws his attention. He kind of gives you one look back, kind of nervous that he perhaps even told you this. But you don't know whether it's nervous that, he shouldn't have told you because he's putting the people in danger, or because he's putting you in danger. You're not sure, really.
I'm not sure either.
Do you say anything to anyone else in the group, or are you going to go straight over to the family? And before you do, you answer that question first. I'm getting ahead of myself.
I would probably gather the group together and sort of relay this mystery that there's more to it than meets the eye. I mean, I have no idea. I don't know. I don't think I have any idea of what sort of knowledge might be forbidden, other than general corruption and chaos and
lots of things. I think this is very much a society where it's like, you don't need to talk about those things. Your purview is this is your place in society. It's like that sort of echelon society, but it's not just talking about your job, but it's also about what you need to know. You don't need to know those things, and that's sort of a cultural thing. But there's a lot of suspicion that it's more than that, and just by knowing things, you will bring those things upon you, if you see what I mean. For right or for wrong, but that is kind of a very cultural thing in this world. So it may be that Father Stillman is acting out the suspicion and has nothing more than that, or perhaps he has a genuine reason to believe it. You don't know. Perhaps your characters also believe that. Of course, it's a perfectly valid perspective in this world. Go on, Justin.
How old is the girl?
The girl,
Like,
mid-teens, 14 or 15.
Mid-teens, right?
Yeah, so I'd have kind of come back to the group, explain this, and probably was Boniface doing
Gossiping.
anything else?
I think we could have had Boniface join back for this point if you like.
Yeah, definitely.
It's fine.
Yes.
It's fine.
I think probably like if you were milling around and just talking, I would have kind of come over to you, and my intention would have been to come over to you silently, put my hand on your shoulder, but I don't know what my you can probably.
Boniface can always anticipate the needs of Kruger. That's his job. If he
it's a question of how good Boniface is at his job.
If he failed to do it, then that would be Boniface's fault.
Was there?
Yeah, what he notices, he comes over,
Okay.
he finds a quiet space.
Boniface, I might have need of your talents.
Anything.
As I described, the girl over there seems to have some knowledge of something she shouldn't, and she believes that might have been a cause of these events. Though I find that hard to believe. You do have a way with words, perhaps. Perhaps you might
Most
want to.
gracious. I'll talk to her.
Excellent. And I will sort of again do my thing of standing behind Boniface, looking sort of stoic and
Yeah, sure. This is a very
important.
important matter. He needs to speak to you. Yeah, I understand. Was there anything else the other two characters wanted to do or say about this?
Are we? I mean, was Kruger just talking to Boniface?
No, I
think
would have explained it to the basics of the situation to you as well. So
Okay. Then I would like very much to be a part of that conversation.
are you going to mention rats?
I will mention rats.
Would you like to be a part of the conversation, or would you like to sit nearby and listen to the conversation?
Do you not trust me to hold a conversation without mentioning rats?
No, Mr. Henrik. It's simply, I don't know if you'd be off-putting to the young woman.
I can be perfectly charming and talkative. I've been told.
I'll
I
look
have
over
an
the
image.
Kruger. Whatever Kruger says, I'm not calling the shots here. So
Henrik says that perfectly friendly and talkative while also like maintaining that death stare.
Not blinking.
covered in the skins of the rats that he's murdered. I'm very approachable to the
I'll
teenagers.
have you know.
The youths really like my cool ways.
Okri, was there anything you wanted to add?
I think Okri's still sort of standing at the door, keeping a guard at the moment.
Oh, okay, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, makes sense. I think if you're there, Okri, and you're still watching, that's reasonable. I think Elsa's there with you now as well, watching. You can see. You know what? Give me a perception roll. There's something you might be able to find out by being there. It's a good idea.
Ooh.
Can I add an extra thing?
Yeah.
While Boniface was doing his gossiping and Kruger was talking to Father Stillman, I have taken the hacked off tail, and because I assume all animals work the same, rats are repulsed by the smell of dead rats. So I've put the tail in the entranceway to dissuade any other whatever they are. From
I
coming
like
into the
it.
church.
Okay,
Nice.
okay, that's fun. I'm gonna note that down.
I thought you were going to wash it in the font, which probably wouldn't have been very...
No.
Okay, tail. Your was a +20 there for you, Jonny.
Oh, that's great because I've got perception of 25, but I rolled 28. So
Yeah. You do
against
it, roll the
45,
+20.
that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, you do it, and plus for the 2 successes as well. I was going to say it would have been a flat, but you have the dark vision or night vision, whatever it is, so you get a +20 for it. Yeah, so you are staring out. As you stare outside, you see that the beastmen seem to have withdrawn to a distance. You can't really tell. All the fires have finally gone out in the village now. Even the fact that they were burning at all still seems a bit odd to you, but they are now no longer burning. You can't see any particular figures in that group. It's like kind of a big huddle. They seem to have gone one direction in the village away from you, but you still think they're over there. But as you kind of look around, some movement catches your eye away from the rest of them. And you kind of find yourself staring instead at some kind of tumble down ruins of a building. And it seems like there's just one Ungor in those ruins, like collapsed ruins, just staring at you away from the others, seeming almost like it's hiding not just from them, not just from you, but from them too, which is a very strange thing to see. Something odd about that one, definitely. You don't know what it is, though. It's certainly a distance away. There's nothing you could immediately do about it, perhaps, but that thought strikes you as very odd. They seem to only act in packs. So.
Since I think Kruger is probably our resident Beastman expert to some degree, I'll probably sort of look over my shoulder for a second and Kruger, if I can get his attention.
Yeah, sure. Let's say this is still while Boniface is doing the
gossiping.
Yeah.
If
we can have a moment
of a word that will catch anyone's attention.
We can have a moment of Kruger
so
hearing this, and Henrik, you can come over as well if you like. It's perfectly fine. I know you had nothing you wanted to do.
Should we say this is when I'm depositing the tail?
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense. So you can also hear this conversation. Kruger, you go over.
Okay. Okri, yes. What? Have you spotted something? What?
Yes. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see through the dark, but
Probably not. I will
There.
peer out of it.
that ruined building, there's a group of Ungor there, and a single one there that, from my very small amount of knowledge, seems to be acting strangely.
Strange how?
It's alone and just kind of there.
It is
Seems
true,
to
though.
want to remain hidden from even the other of its kind.
That is odd. They have no strength individually. It's only in packs that they have any form of advantage.
Can Kruger see this? Do you think, Sam?
It's
I
been
can-
pointed out to him with a real squint into the dark. You can make out perhaps a figure in that, but it's not easy to see. Henrik, you have dark vision, right? So
Yeah.
yes, now they've been pointed out to you. You can quite clearly see that individual, and you can make out that they do seem to be behaving oddly. You can also see the other group that Arcry pointed out, clearly separate from them.
It's definitely one of them.
Do we know what that building is?
Just a farmhouse, you think, nearby, next to the tavern across the way.
Was it a ruin before this, or do we think it's been ruined as a result of what's happened?
You think it's been
Yeah.
ruined as a result.
Okay.
It's kind of half fallen down, if you see what I mean. It's not like completely
Right.
ruined, but some of the roof timbers are kind of on the ground, which is what's being hidden.
How intelligent are these creatures, Kruger?
There's a question, Sam.
Do you want me to? Yeah. It really depends on what Kruger's perspective on these things are. You kind of, if you're coming at it from a purely, they are creatures to smite, they are horrible and evil, and they're just a essence of chaos, then they're just nothing higher than animals. They're just animals. That's probably how most people view them. But if you're trying to get if you're in like a beastman hunter, someone who would actively be, if you know a beastman hunter, you might be a bit more savvy and know that they do have a rudimentary intelligence and they can build things and they can they seem to be able to communicate. But you might hear that from someone and dismiss it as foolish if you're that kind of person. So it kind of depends how you want to think of them.
Well, I mean, given where my hometown is, which is kind of on the edge of Dracold Forest, and given that my particular interest is getting, developing enough to join the Sons of Ulrich, I probably will have been paying quite close attention to, behavior and tactics and things like that. So, yes. Yeah, they have. Yes, they might appear like animals, but they do have. They are capable of thought. They can be tricky if they have a mind to. Is it watching us? I can't quite tell.
It seems to be.
I'll tell you what. Now you've been looking at it for a while, it seems like it's actually scuttled away further into the wreckage, so it's not so visible.
I wonder if it knows that we're looking at it also.
I suspect it probably does. How exposed is this building?
Where you are or where it is?
Where it is. Well, essentially, if we were to, like a party was to go out to it, to try to... I mean, there's... okay.
It's a little bit of a distance.
Yeah.
The open ground in between. But you don't
And
know
honest-
how the Ungors are. The rest of the Beastmen are.
Yeah, and honestly, it wouldn't be particularly sensible to rush out into the darkness with a whole bunch of Ungors around just to get one. I don't think there's any reason for us to,
Sensible.
Other than curiosity.
other than curiosity. Yeah, I think I would probably, I don't know.
When did
Probably
anyone get any
suggest-
honor by doing things that were sensible?
Look, we've just killed that, Boniface.
I'm
What-
not
what-
here. I'm not here. That was just a Dustin comment.
You hear Boniface like yelling something about honor and bravery in the background in the rest of the temple.
Well, we should at least keep an eye on it at the moment. Keep tabs on it. See whether it does anything else.
Maybe. Does it seem to be hiding from the rest of the group as well?
Yes, that was what I was mentioning to Okri. It does seem to be hiding from both of you, effectively, both groups.
Very strange. Oh well.
Assuming that's kind of the conversation that happens there and no more decisions made, which is perfectly reasonable. Shall we go to Boniface and that conversation you're going to have with the girl?
Absolutely.
And Henrik was joining, I believe. Okri, you're staying at the door, are you, to keep an eye on what's going on? Kruger is kind of hovering, looking regal.
Henrik
Yeah.
and Rinda are joining.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Oh, emotional support dog. Vicious.
I
Small
I
but
think
vicious
Rinda
emotional-
is the main charm offensive, to be honest.
Right.
Well, Boniface is going to aim to do a charm roll, basically, to try and, the start of the conversation is mostly, how are you? Are you not dead? Fantastic. Sorry about your house being burnt down. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I thought you were good at talking.
We'll see.
I rolled a 28. I have to get under 40.
Yep, I was
So
going
if
to
I
make
have
it a
any
flat challenge. It was
advantages-
fairly difficult, but that makes sense.
Yeah. So that was a success.
2
So
success.
you're saying even if it's only a 12 success, that's 2 success levels.
It's you subtract. Oh God,
It's
which
just
way
the
around is
tens.
it?
So you got 28 of 40 or whatever it was, 40 something.
Yeah.
That's just 2 to 4, so it's 2 success levels.
Okay.
Because you're just doing it by the tens. Yeah, so the conversation goes fairly smoothly. You actually are getting some, they seem to be having an actual natter with you, which is not unpleasant at all.
Given that we're
And-
so similar in age,
Yeah, exactly. Perhaps you're bonding a little bit. She thinks you're a little bit of a charmer, maybe. But she's clearly quite upset.
not the angle we're going for, but sure.
Clearly quite upset nonetheless. Well,
It's not the angle Boniface is going for, but stress does lots of things, lots of
exactly. Stress can do strange things. What are you? How are you going to broach the subject you want to ask?
Oh, what a question! I guess just the kind of my Lord Kruger is. I keep wanting to say my Lord, but it's so milady-like. It's just terrible. My Lord Kruger is going to do everything he can to deal with this. But anything that could start as a where we can start asking questions, where we can start looking into things, would be really helpful for us to make sure that this problem goes away and stays gone.
What is it you want to know?
Well, I couldn't help but overhearing earlier when I was telling of my Lord Kruger's excellent defeat of that horrible creature, that you were saying something about this being your fault. And I don't think that's what's happening. But if you know something that could be of help, perhaps you can tell us a bit about that.
I think her eyes flick across to her grandfather and then to the floor. And her grandfather is like holding her. Oh, sorry, you don't actually know he's a grandfather, but you're guessing. Is holding her her hand, and he doesn't seem to make any particular motion, so you don't know whether he's suggesting she does or doesn't talk to you. But after a second, she looks back up at you and says, I heard a conversation near a month ago. The Baron was here. His whole company, they were hunting the beasts. The beast has already been ravaging the area. We don't know why. We haven't seen them before. I've already lost a friend to them in the neighboring village. He was a good boy. They were here supposed to be protecting us. He had a big company of men, 40 or 50 at least. They could have easily saved us from this. They were staying here for a few nights. I can't remember how long. I was just near one of the tents. I shouldn't have been there. And she looks down again. You get the impression she hasn't told you the whole story when she says you shouldn't have been there, but she doesn't.
I'm always places. I'm always end up places I'm not supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. She looks up at you and gives you like a small, like awkward smile and says, "Yes. Well, I ended up outside the Baron's tent. I overheard. I overheard some talking, some strange talking. There was a man. He sounded old. And another voice. It didn't sound like a person's voice. I don't know what it was, but the man wasn't the Baron. It was older. But they were talking about him. They were talking about how to get him to do things. Where and what and things, like making plans. I don't really remember the conversation very well. There was something about doses, I think. I don't know what it meant, but they kept mentioning the word. It sounded like things were in a hurry, like panicking maybe, or rushed. The strange voice, it was angry at times. And it kept repeating words, like saying them twice. I don't know what it was. I heard some guards coming near the tents, and then I ran away. That was really all I heard, but I went to talk to my grandfather about it, and well.
Then you went to the city to talk about it?
Yes, I thought we shouldn't say anything, but Father Stillman, he helped. He suggested we should go. It's important, he said. These are, well, no matter how high up the people are, when things like voices are involved.
Yeah, here in Sigmar's Church of all places, we know that we have to always work to root out any sign of corruption or chaos.
But you know what they say. Because of what I've heard, because of what I've told others, I've brought this upon us. I must have. And then she starts crying, and then her grandfather.
Yeah, Boniface comforting, but I don't think the 17-year-old has any idea of how to emotionally really deal with that. Like to comfort somebody who thinks they've caused destruction in their own village.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you know what would have happened if you hadn't gone to the city?
I think the girl is crying for a moment now. Are you directing this at her, or are you directing this at her grandfather, perhaps?
I'm directing it at her.
Okay. I think she maybe sniffs for a second. She's clearly heard you, but she takes a moment to recover herself, and then looks up at you and says, "What? No."
Exactly. You have no way of knowing whether it would have been better or worse than this.
I guess, but they say that if you speak of these things, it brings them upon you.
It had already come, child.
But now they're here, and they weren't before. They were in... I suppose you're right. They could have come at any time. But perhaps my lord, he would still be here if I hadn't have...
And
It was-
under what corrupting influence?
It was Sigmar's will that it happened this way. That's why it happened in his church, and that's why my Lord Kruger was here to help save the day.
Wearing a big white wolf.
I love the idea that Kruger just like shuffles his shoulder over and just like covers over the wolf emblazoned.
Oh, dear.
Do I think I could wheedle out why she was actually at the tent, or that moment's passed?
I think it's probably past. It would be hard.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, that's fine. I don't want to push it.
Okay.
The voices in the tent. Did you hear them say anything else? You heard talk of doses, talk of having the Baron do what they wanted. Did they say anything that could reveal their identities? Anything that implied allegiance to any forces or groups?
When you start talking about forces or groups, she starts like shaking her head and looking more and more like scared, and she just starts going, "No, I don't know, I don't know of anyone. No
Are you
one.
sure?
Yes,
Even
yes."
if it sounds ridiculous.
And she starts crying again and stops really responding to you.
Going to talk
Rinda.
about rats, aren't you?
I give Rinda a nudge.
Rinda does go and like lean up against her, and she kind of puts a hand on Rinda and pats, but it doesn't immediately stop her crying.
I think like looking at give Henrik a look that's like, I think we're probably done here.
I think so.
And was there something else you wanted to do, Henrik, or am I remembering incorrectly? No, that was just the tail. That's right.
Yes.
Yes. So we've done all the things you immediately wanted to do, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okri, you are at the front of the temple. You see a single figure walking up fairly slowly and calmly towards the temple. They appear somewhat larger than perhaps the Ungors you'd been fighting, but nothing like the size of the beast that's slain behind you.
Sort of tense my fingers on my hammer.
Absolutely. As they draw closer, you see that they are a larger, more bulky-looking beast man creature. Sorry, I don't mind me just preparing a picture in the background. They kind of come closer to there's only a dim light coming from the chapel, but you can see them quite clearly now. They look like they have long, like tall horns on their top, and they're wearing kind of flowing robes with a large, long staff held in one hand. And I can zoom in a bit on that. And now I can. Sorry. There we go. There we go. And that's the image of what they look like as they stand facing you outside the front of this temple. And at that, they say, "Humans!" at you, loud enough for everyone to hear. And I think we'll end the session there.
You're sorted, Okri.
I was going to say, Okri's going to turn around and be like, "This guy wants you."
Double thumbs up, like, hey, it's just you guys.
What a cruel generalization of this,
Oh.
this beastman there.
Amazing.
I'd like to point out
You all
that
look the same.
that's the Rin. I'm now drawing that bit because some of the story comes from the base thing. That's in the base thing, you see. So they're just assuming, just clearly racist assumptions of this story setup when they're not assuming other, speciesist. Other species could be, in the.
I mean, if you're rolling randomly, it's a pretty low chance, though, isn't it, for non
Well, I mean, in this temple, there's what, 3 dwarves? That's quite a few dwarves.
Oh, true. Yeah. Oh, they are actually in the.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps they all ran off as well. Failed
Goodness
the
me.
cool rolls.
The elf didn't join us, did he? He slunk
No,
off.
the
after
elf
being
I've
beaten.
not seen at all.
Mm.
Okay.
Not since they left after the game. Clearly too slighted. So yeah, that's our cliffhanger ending for the episode. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, this is. I've no idea what to expect, which is interesting. Like this again, the turnaround from Call of Cthulhu, where like the merest mention of certain keywords is enough to like spin up all sorts of scenarios. I've no idea what's going on now.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Oh, it's a good thing. It's definitely a good thing. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll tell you what. Before we get into chats and comments and questions, maybe, and everything else, we'll do my little end spiel. So, thanks very much for joining us, folks. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. That was Warhammer 4th edition. We're doing on Mondays. I think we should maybe mention it now. I think we'll have. Well, no, I know we are because I'm not running it next week. We are having a break next week from Warhammer 4th edition. A few of us aren't available, so we're just going to leave off. But we'll be back the following week, all things going ahead. Otherwise, on Telling Tales, we run a couple of weekly series. There is going to be the World of Darkness Wraith starting on Thursday, and Into the Odd is currently ongoing on Wednesdays. We have one-shots every month. Next is going to be Merkborg, and there's tons and tons of all of this stuff on YouTube, loads of other series we've read in the past, and one-shots and all sorts of fun things to go and watch. So go have a look.
Do you have a Discord as well?
Yeah, we have social media, Discord, all that. Yeah, just Steve, go check out all that stuff as well. Discord is mighty friendly and lovely. We've got lots of folks nattering on there, which is nice.
And the link will be somewhere in the Twitch About page, I think.
Indeed.
Yep. We have also, just double checking whether it's actually been added. We have is it Mastodon? Dice. I'm so
the thing that Chris
not
did.
savvy.
Proper dinosaur.
It hasn't been added yet, but you find us on one of the other platforms, and it will be there eventually.
In the future, when you're watching this on YouTube,
or just go to Mastodon and search for us. It is called Mastodon, isn't it? I haven't just half read that. Okay.
No, it's Mastodon. Yeah. That's what I remember anyway.
Sometimes I read words I'm not familiar with and go, "That's basically the same word."
It's fine. Yeah.
I'm just looking at the
Kruger and Kruber.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
I would have loved if that was canonical as well. If you'd just been calling your lord the wrong name for however many months.
I was just looking at the comments there because it's the first time. We should put them up on the thing as well. If anyone does have any extra comments, feel free to add them. I was just enjoying Steve's. I've just remembered the name of the series. At the moment when we're talking about knowing about the things. Yes, exactly. I spent a while considering names for series, and I was just like, oh, it's too perfect. It fits all the characters so well.
So this isn't actually an official scenario title, then, is it not?
No. So what Agati there in the comments is talking about is I'm running the first few sessions. It's turned into 4 sessions now. Hell, maybe more, but hopefully just 4. Is a one-shot session, which, because I'm new to running the thing, I thought I would use something that was already there, but I've customized, and they might recognize that there's stuff in this that was not in that as written, because there's another plot going on that's bigger and more complex.
Nice.
And there's a plot for this one shot, so it'd be interesting to see when you can figure out which is which and what's going on. Yeah, was there anything
new subscriptions? I think we did.
Yeah, stuff like that.
We did. We've got, if you want the context of this, look at our one-shot Honey Heist on YouTube.
Oh, no.
It's
it's great fun. It's great fun.
It is.
Context is for cowards, though.
It's well-known fact. No hat equals bear. That's all you need to know.
Our follows, we had follow from HTEF or maybe HTEP-H, and from Meandeef or Meandeef.
Nice.
And we've had a Prime subscription from Agati.
Yes,
So
thank you very much.
very
Thanks,
much
everyone.
for that, Agati.
Yeah, thank you. Cool.
And yeah, that's everything.
Cool. Nice and easy. That's fun. I was looking forward to. I wasn't exactly sure what our cliffhanger ending would be. I was really ambitiously thinking there's a small chance we'll be able to finish this session, but the combat.
I kept looking at the time and I was like, "Oh,
I don't want to rush it.
where are we gonna go? Where are we gonna finish this thing?
Yeah.
How long is this conversation with this little girl going to be?"
Yeah. Well, I had to have a more of a. I wasn't sure whether the her thing could be a cliffhanger, but I was like, no.
Yeah.
The next story beat.
No, I think it was good. It was good.
It's good. It's good. I'm looking forward to the next session. How you react to this next bit's gonna be really interesting.
Mockery's like, again, I'm not a human.
Walk away
Not
now.
with these people.
Gonna
I know-
I
I'm
know,
not tall.
I know. Yeah, I know. I'm tall, but I am a dwarf.
Oh dear.
Perfect.
I know. I'm also incredibly approachable, but believe me,
Yeah, as Agati there said in chat, the Minotaur. It's funny when you're fighting large things in this game. So there were a fair few NPCs there, and actually you didn't roll as bad as you could with the staying in combat for the NPCs too, because that was fairly hard. So you did have quite a bonus from their help, because the more people gang up on a big thing, the easier it is to fight it. And it's already very easy to hit big things because of the size differential. So basically, combat with big things in this game ends up where it's like, most of the time you're going to be hitting it lots and it's not going to hit you at all. But if it hits you once, there's a good chance you'll just die. Like, it's perfectly possible it could one-shot any of you, as makes sense. And that's exactly how Warhammer works. So while people watching might think that was kind of a steamrolly combat where you will just won, it's like, yeah, but if Kruger hadn't managed to win that hit, he would very possibly be dead. So I mean, it makes sense. He's being hit by a giant monster.
I was somewhat concerned about that possibility, which is why I wanted the shield.
Did you get the shield? Yeah, what are you complaining about here? Did you get hit at any point when you didn't have the shield? No.
I got hit,
Yes.
Oh,
By me.
that was a falling piece of masonry, and everyone knows it.
I love
That's what
how
I
it was.
said.
It was also. I think Elsa did have a little hit before that, but it was basically the first hit of combat, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great.
Just like, we're ready, it's in. Smacks ally and back of that.
Just
back of
as long as it doesn't become a thing.
After spending
What-
a reroll for it as well,
I
that's
What
Rerolls
did the
can be treacherous.
crits? What does dislocated elbow do effectively? Does it do anything?
Yeah.
Or
The
just
dislocated
uses
elbow.
that as a cudgel.
Yeah, no, the dislocated elbow is really, really bad. It means that whole arm is useless, which in roleplay terms for me would mean that it can't use its weapon. So it would have to find an entirely different way of attacking, either charge with its horns or just bash into people. But that would be way worse. But as it happened, it didn't get another attack. So it's like almost the worst you could get. So yeah, it's super bad. Basically, completely disable the arm. The only thing higher is to completely remove the arm. So
Was it
difficult,
ambidextrous?
no, it wasn't ambidextrous. I would say
Okay.
it does say primary arm on the thing.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No. Yeah, I was wondering how that would go. It's like initially, like last week, I was kind of thinking that it was a cutscene, and somebody would sweep in and save us, because fighting one of those things, like
Pretty terrifying.
Mhm. But
Yeah, I
it's
was like, if this goes wrong, there's got to be like an army on the corner that just turns
Yeah,
up and
I
goes,
know.
"We were here all along."
this game really helps you for fighting in a group. So the idea is it's like surrounded and confused, and there's
Nice.
lots of
Yeah,
people
yeah.
jabbing at it. Because imagine 5 people jabbing you all at once, so it's quite hard for it to actually hit. That's kind of the mechanic. So a lot of Warhammer allows you to fight big things by ganging up, and like 4 of you could feasibly have beaten it. It's just there's a very good chance 1 or 2 of you would have been downed, if not killed, in the process. And I think this is a bit early in the game to put that upon you. So we'll see. Maybe later on I'll give you a fight like that.
Great.
Cool. I think that's basically everything from us, isn't it? So shall we wrap it up there then?
That was good.
So thanks very much for joining us, folks. It's been fun. I'm looking forward to. So as I said, 2 weeks time for the next one. I'm looking forward to that. And I promise we'll wrap up this one shot in 4 sessions. That will be it. Cool. See you, folks. Take care.
Bye.